What is going on, guys? Subtimes here, George here, coach of the San Francisco Arcanines, here to bring you GBA Season 10 Week 10 match. And this week, we take on Play More Esports, coached by General Tar Heel, managed by none other than PM7 John. If any of you have ever watched this channel before, you know I have a long history with John that goes back well over a decade at this point. So we've done a lot of battles, a lot of collabs together, a lot of fun. And I'm super excited to take on what he believes to be the best draft league team out there. Just like he does, I had to break out the suit today. Wanted to look nice and fresh for the last game of the season. And without further ado, let's get right on into the video. We got a post commentary today, guys, because I had to record this in a separate setting and I wasn't able to be in the studio, as you can see with my esteemed Home Goods picture in the background. But anyways, let's get right on into this team preview. We're going to be watching it live together. I got Kingambit, Gyarados, Tinkaton, the Garganacl, the Amoonguss, and the Sweeper Halucha in the back. We see Torkoal coming in. Heatran is not on the team right now. Kilowattrel, Dachshund. We got the Hisuian Samurott, the Slitherwing, and the Roaring Moon. Roaring Moon, huge threat in any matchup. Depending on what type of set this thing is, it could either be a Dragon Dance, it could be Bandit, it could be Choice Scarf. The Slitherwing, there's not really too many switch-ins for Slitherwing on my team. That is why I had to run a physically defensive Kingambit in this game. That is going to be probably my most crucial pivot out there. I decided to run the Shuka Berry on the Tinkaton, mainly for EQs from Roaring Moon, but also Earth Power off of that Heatran. Anyways, without further ado, let's get right on into the video. We're facing Bean today. If you guys did not know, I have a dog and I call her Bean. She's a Shiba Inu and she's the love of my life. Anyways, here we go. So, lead off with Slitherwing. I lead off with the Kingambit right here. Kingambit, easy turn one, is just going to be to Terrastalize right off the bat and go for those stealth rocks, knowing that that Torkoal is most likely going to be coming in. Now, for Torkoal, it's a little bit tricky to switch into this thing in the sun. With the Lava Plume, it can get that burn off. However, we are able to get the Terra off here, which is phenomenal. That's a great turn one. Now being able to switch safely into the Roaring Moon as well as the Slitherwing. So we are going to go for the rocks right here, knowing that he could just go for his own rocks next turn, could go for the Rapid Spin, or could go for the Lava Plume. Now, taking all of this into account, the obvious switch is going to be Countdown the Gyarados. It is especially defensive Gyarados this week, and it came because Heatran as well as Torkoal is difficult for my team to switch into consistently, so I wanted to make sure we ran the Gyarados. Now, I wanted to be a little bit more conservative in this week. It's the final week of the season. We have not had a very successful season. Per the Arcaniner standards, we used to be winning championships and playoffs, and now we are sitting outside of the playoff spots. So this is going to be a Rest and Sleep Talk Gyarados with Waterfall and Dragon Tail. I am just going to Dragon Tail on this turn, not knowing what he's going to want to do. He's probably not going to want to stay in, and what is going to be the switch in. And it is actually Ginger, and knowing John, knowing Ginger, it's going to be the Dachshund, the dog. It's going to be the dog. Anyway, this dog is fairy type, so it is not going to take any damage from that Dragon Tail whatsoever. I am going to have to switch right here, trying to see what the best play is. I don't know too much about what this thing can do. I'm just going to go into safe Amoonguss as he predicts the switch, or just not even predicts the switch. Yawn was his best play. He wasn't going to do too much damage to me anyway. Anyway, so now I am just going to click the Spore. Did I double switch? I pause for George right here. I did indeed a double switch there. So, as I choke on my own saliva and miss what happened in the game, we double switch into Garganacl. Now, let's think about what George does in these games. He overpredicts. What did I think he was going to do? I thought he was going to go for the U-turn, expecting the obvious switch. Why would someone keep a rock type against one of the most powerful physical attackers in the game to take a close combat when I have a Gyarados and I also have the Kingambit with the Terra Fairy? Why would I stay in? That was a weakness policy rock polish sweeper. Now, there was an off chance that I would have survived that hit based on the spread, but it was very marginal, and I should not have sacrificed my Garganacl off so early on in the game. However, we still stand together, and we are not done yet. So, now we are in with the Mercenary. We are going to go for, I believe, the Stealth Rocks once again. Reason being is I want rocks on his side of the field, and I want him to know that I want rocks on my side, on his side of the field. Rocks for me is crucial, knowing that the Hawlucha is going to be the #1 sweeper on my team. I need to make sure the Kilowattrel comes in on a couple turns of rocks, the Ginger comes in on a couple turns of rocks, and now I'm in a situation where, is he going to spin? He's probably going to spin, in my opinion. I'm going to go for Stone Edge, see just how much we can do there, and we do a solid 40% to it. Now, Rapid Spin does come off, so I do lose my rocks there. However, even with that Rapid Spin +1 speed, he is not going to be able to outspeed me. So, anyways, what happens next is actually completely escaping me. Do I click Stone Edge again? It would make sense to click Stone Edge again if you think about it. I would be able to get another 40% off. My only risk here is that I would be taking a Lava Plume potentially, or he's going to use this opportunity to get up his own rocks. But anyways, it does look like I am going to be switching out into the Gyarados here just to play it a little bit on the safer side. Not wanting to risk my Kingambit after I just risked my Garganacl and risk versus the reward. I did not get rewarded for that play. He's going to get up his free layer of Stealth Rocks on my team. I don't have any removal on this team on this spread. I didn't bring the Regieleki with the Rapid Spin or Defog on the Hawlucha, so I am now stuck with rocks on my side of the field. I did not bring Chi-Yu this week, so I'm not terribly weak to rocks. It does kind of hinder the longevity of the Gyarados, but because there is no Heatran, I'm not too concerned about that. But anyways, we are going to go into the Fungus Among Us. I'm predicting that he's going to want to switch into Ginger here. Knowing that, I'm just going to quickly double switch out, and we're going to see what he goes into. He goes directly into Ginger. Now, knowing he doesn't want to go for the... he's not going to want to stay in, and he's probably going to want to switch into the Slitherwing, which we assume has the safety goggles because it was the play last time. So knowing that, I am just going to go for the Toxic rather than the Sludge Bomb. Hindsight, it might have been the better play to go for the Sludge Bomb and get off a big chunk of damage on this thing. However, being able to wear it down over time, I have a feeling that this thing's going to be coming in and out and able to get consistent damage every single time with rocks. With this, it does have moves that do recoil. It does get Flare Blitz. It is now in the sun. However, the sunlight does in fact fade. So what I'm going to do here is I'm not going to play around with it anymore. I am going to make the play, and I'm going to make the switch into the Kingambit. So Kingambit for me is absolutely so crucial and vital in this game. It puts in the work. Not to give any spoilers, but it puts in the work. Highlight MVP of this game for sure. We do get the Supreme Overlord, so we do have Sucker Punch, we do have Stone Edge, we do have the Terra Blast on this thing, and that Flare Blitz does nothing. Absolutely nothing. Now, it doesn't have the Photosynthesis, and it isn't in the sun. However, if you're thinking Slitherwing has base, 130-something attack? That did 50 damage after lefties to me, and now I have to make this the play. Am I going to go for the Stealth Rocks, or am I going to predict the switch and go for the Stone Edge? I want rocks. Rocks to me is probably the most crucial part of this game. If I can keep up the rocks and he doesn't make the switch into the Torkoal on one turn, which happens to be this turn right here, he's going to go into Arlong the Fishman. He's going to go into the Hisuian Samurott. And now I know that with my Stealth Rocks up, what am I going to do? The safe play is just to go for Terra Blast, thinking Ceaseless Ledge or the Aqua Cutter, and this man brings Encore. So there was the debate if I should take the switch and make the aggressive play into the Amoonguss. However, I don't have Giga Drain on that Amoonguss. I brought I brought the Stomping Tantrum for the Heatran, and unfortunately, it is going to bite me in the butt right here, as now a free Ceaseless Edge is going to come off. I'm fairly safe to switch into Tinkaton here. Rinky Dinky Tinky is going raunchy this game, as it does have the Swords Dance set. So expecting Ceaseless Edge, that's not going to do too much damage. And now I want to see is he going to make the safe play and go into Torkoal. If he makes a safe play going into Torkoal on my SD, I'm able to then go for Stone Edge, and that should be enough to potentially get a KO on the Torkoal and get me back in this game. However, I do bring SD Tinkaton very frequently. I think it is a phenomenal Pokemon. Probably my favorite draft Pokemon on this team had to be Tinkaton after I started using it more. He's going to go for the Aqua Cutter. That puts me in Aqua Jet range, which is very, very unfortunate. And as I click player off, I think, wow, this game now is over, as I am not going to be able to come back from losing the Tinkaton without getting a kill, with losing the Garganacl without getting a kill. But as this still communicates on and on and on, I'm starting to think he might not have Jet. Jet is the instant click move right here, and he's taking his sweet, sweet time. So either he's over predicting, or he doesn't have Aqua Jet. And what I learned now, guys, I'm hoping comes up any second now. This is a PSA to John, aka Pokemon. Can you please tell your coaches to pick moves faster? Thank you very much. Anyways, waiting for that move. There we go. We outspeed. We go for the player off. Probably should have cut that out a little bit more. And we're able to take out the Hisuian Samurott right then and there. So right now, we're not in a great position. However, we are not out of this game. This is by no means, this is still a wide open game depending on how it is played, how certain roles will go, if we miss the Stone Edges, things like that. He goes into Kaido here, which I thought was interesting that this would be the switch in to kind of counter anything. I do have the Stone Edge here. Terra Flying is likely, but not required. I figured getting damage off of Stone Edge is more favorable to me. If he Terra Flyings and just for some reason doesn't take me out, I feel the Stone Edge would be better than the play rough there. So we are trying to see here, is he going to, if he Dragon Dance in the face of a +2 Tinkaton, that's just a mistake. He's just going to go for Crunch. He's going to take me out. For a very brief moment, I thought, what if I live that? It's not happening. It's a Roaring Moon. It's not, you do not survive a Roaring Moon from 26 HP. The safe switch is going right back into Kingambit here, and even with the spikes, this thing is staying on a monster amount of health. I am going to click the Terra Blast right here. I didn't want to over-predict. He didn't Terra last turn, which makes me think that he isn't Terra Flying, but I still want to play safe around it. I could have gone for Stone Edge, but if I went for Stone Edge, and this man went for Dragon Dance or Iron Head or Iron Tail or something, and he stayed the same, Terra Blast was the safest play for me to make right here. It is going to do only about 10% to the Torkoal. And at this point, Torkoal's really starting to hinder my team a lot. Rapid Spin coming off is going to hurt me. And I'm starting to think, you know what? Stone Edge might just be the play. It won't KO this Torkoal. However, getting enough damage off on this thing, I need to make sure rocks will stay on my side of the field. And I believe right here, that is correct. I missed the Stone Edge. And that is a crucial turn as he gets off a Lava Plume, but does not get the burn. And we decide here, you know what, Kingambit, you've been an absolute tank. You've been a legend. Let's just go for it again. And we get the critical hit. This critical hit is the only reason we were still in this game, because we missed. Now, yes, it is a high critical hit ratio move. The likelihood is it's going to eventually get a crit, but the also likelihood is that it's eventually going to miss. It's a risk versus reward scenario again, and we got rewarded for missing, basically there. So, anyways, now we are looking more promising. The Stealth Rocks are up. We do have hazards on our side, but I do feel that it does hurt him a little bit more than it hurts me. Now, you will notice the sunbeams of light in the sky over there. Those sunbeams are going to come into play in the next turn as he goes into the Slitherwing, and I forget to change my calc from sun up to no sun up, and I forgot about photosynthesis and forgot about the sun, and I thought, you know what? He can take a Flare Blitz. Mercenary can take a Flare Blitz. With the rocks and spikes on my side of the field, it may be better just to take this hit and go for its air. I should have gone for Sucker Punch, and it will be seen why I should have gone for Sucker Punch. It might have changed the game ever so slightly to be just a little bit easier for us. It would not have killed by any means. That is a tanky, bulky thing. However, now, doing my thought process here, I don't have a good switch into this. I could go into Hawlucha, which may have been the better play. However, Sceptile MC brain right here, guys. What happens when George gets flustered in these games this season? He overthinks it and forgets that this thing gets Wild Charge. And Wild Charge was a near 100% bring in this match. Now, the one thing is, if I went for that Sucker Punch, Wild Charge would have been able to most likely take him out with that toxic damage as well. Unfortunately, that was not the case, and now I do have to go into the Hawlucha to take him out because I cannot take a Flare Blitz using the Amoonguss. Now, if I had gone into Hawlucha first and gone for the mind blank acrobatics, I would have been able to take out this thing, and then we would have been left with the scenario of its 3v3. Now, that would have been the correct play, but we don't make correct plays in this season of the GBA. We learn from our mistakes so we can come back even stronger in a future season. So, now I have to think, where is Hawlucha going to sweep? How? When? Where? Why? Who? Who is Hawlucha? When? Probably in the next 2-3 turns. How? To be determined. Why? Because that's the only way we can win this game. And he is going to make the switch out into Kilowattrel. This is good for me because Kilowattrel needed to take a round of Stealth Rocks. It needs to actually take 2 rounds of Stealth Rocks for me to guarantee a KO with my Lychee Berry and the reversal. So I am going to make the switch here into Amoonguss. And Amoonguss against the Kilowattrel, interesting things could happen. He's going to go for a Thunderbolt. Now, I thought he would go for the Volt Switch right here, or the Air Slash. And he actually goes for the Thunderbolt because he didn't want the off chance that the Air Slash miss. And there is a chance that Air Slash does not 2-hit KO Amoonguss even when it switches in. So now I'm trying to decide, do I go for the Spore? Do I go for damage with Sludge Bomb? And the play for me is to go for the Spore. If it has the substitute, it has the substitute. That's just going to be the game then. I have to make this play. I am eventually going to decide to land on the Spore here. And then it's going to be a, do we double switch out into Hawlucha? Try to get greedy. Will he get 2 turns of sleep? Will he not get 2 turns of sleep? Or how is it going to go? Anyways, we go for the Spore. And we are in a tough situation. Do we switch or do we stay in? And I know, you guys don't know, but I know that I make the play here to stay in and go for a Sludge Bomb, expecting him to probably want to switch. Staying in is risky because if he gets unlucky, 2 to 3 turns of sleep, Hawlucha could set up and sweep his whole team. So, gonna go into Kaido here as I go for the Sludge Bomb and get a huge poison on him. This poison completely prevents him from setting up and sweeping against me with Dragon Dance. This means I'm able to stall him out. I have Endure. I am just going to stay in and go for the Sludge Bomb here. He goes for Dragon Claw. Now, I am able to live, potentially live. It's a roll, but I'm able to potentially live a Dragon Claw with my Hawlucha right now because I do have a fair amount of bulk. So, I'm going to go into Hawlucha. And I just need to decide, am I going to Endure on this turn and risk the roll, or am I going to SD? Well, if I Endure and get +1 on my Lychee Berry, I will kill something, but it will go into Ginger, and I will need a critical hit with the Acrobatics. Instead, I'm going to play on the roll, and I'm going to have to go for the Swords Dance here. It is a tough decision. However, if I want a chance to win, which we would like to win at the end of the season, I have to go for the SD and go for the roll. If I wanted to guarantee I only lose by 2-0, then I would go for Endure. He goes for the Dragon Claw, and he's able to kill our Hawlucha. But it did not matter because he actually ran the Choice Band. So, anyways, guys, that is going to be the end of GBA Season 10 for the San Francisco 49ers. It was a fantastic season. It was a season of many downs, a few ups, but many downs. And honestly, I'm not happy with how the season went. I came in here and I was really hoping that we'd be able to pick ourselves up and really go for a massive W this season. But Coming back after 7 years was incredibly difficult, and not having too much experience in the generation, if any experience, actually really hindered me. But I do feel the battles got better as the season went on. Some key mistakes in each game, just like in this one, losing Garganackle was probably the biggest mistake I could have made when I had a safe switch in the Kingambit. Anyways, guys, John, you're not going to let me live this one down. I know that for a fact. General Tar Heel, fantastic game. Links in the description below, guys. And anyways, my name is Septalim George, the coach of your San Francisco 49ers. I'll catch you guys next time.